Hello, guys. Good morning, depending on what time of day you're watching this. My name is Bernard, and I wanted to go over something really quickly that could help you if you are one of the millions of parents out there homeschooling your children. Um, so, just a quick background. Um, when COVID hit, of course, all of us were homeschooling at one point or another. My kids never went back to school. We kept them home for a number of reasons. Um, my wife is an educator. She has her degree in early childhood development. She was not working at the time, so it was pretty easy for her. Again, she's an educator, but eventually she had to go back to work. And excuse me, sorry. Um, I work remotely, and I'm also a small business owner, so I work from home. So now that responsibility has been placed on me, and I'll tell you, it's not easy if you're not an educator. Um, you see a screenshot right here of my children. They're about 2 or 3 years older than this photo right here. But yeah, so my son, he is in the fourth grade right now. I think this photo, he's probably in the second, and my daughter is in the fifth grade right now. I think this photo of her was she was probably in about the third grade. So let's get right to it. If you are home schooling your children and you are trying to find ways to make your day easier um, and efficient, I wanted to share something with you. So I've been going through different programs online, buying different software, even things that were free. And I finally found something that's actually working out for us. So let me share my screen. Let's see, share screen. We're going to go to here. Excuse me again. All right. So this is IXL.com. I found out about this. So I went on Amazon and I purchased a few workbooks for my kids, math, language arts, I think a few science workbooks. And they happen to be made or published by IXL. Okay. And going through the workbook with my kids, I noticed that, of course, they had a website. So I looked the website up a few times and I said, oh, okay, at the time when I first looked it up, I wasn't in a position to want to pay for anything because I was finding a lot of free resources online. And there are a lot of free resources online. But the thing about free resources is you can find them and you can build a lesson plan, but I'm not great at building a lesson plan. I need some sort of outline to follow. Now, the school system here does give us an outline. They do give us something to follow, but I need something like a little bit more specific. Also, I needed something to assess what my kids did and did not know. Now, I was pretty good at that. I was pretty good at finding out, especially their math, like where they were struggling in. But things like language arts, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I am not a proponent of teaching English to children for the rest of their af- academic life. I think that is just a waste of time. I think by fifth grade, if kids don't know English, then the school system needs to change something. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox for that one. Um, the language arts portion, it was hard for me to nail down where they were having issues. So um, again, after trying so many different things and paying for so many different things, and I'm gonna create a video on the different platforms that I pay for, I eventually looked into IXL.com and I liked what I saw. Now, I have two children. Um, excuse me again. IXL.com, I believe I'm paying about $25 a month for this. Now, there was an option to pay for the year for about $200. Um, I didn't do that just yet because the school year is almost over. So I said, I'm going to wait until September to pay for a year. I'll just pay for the next few months at 25 bucks a month, stop it around June, and then pay for the year in September. So let's get right into it. So this is when you first log in, you will be given an option to go into the parent area or your children's area. Now, that's after you set up your child or your children's accounts. When you first log in, it's going to prompt you and it's going to start giving you steps like asking you your kids' names, their grade. It should already know what state you're logging in from. I don't think I had to tell it where I was. I think it knew exactly where I was. So, again, excuse me. So, it'll give you the option. Do you want to log in as the parent or one of your children? So, of course, you want to be the parent. Okay. The first thing I think you should do once you get in here is have your children do, and hopefully I'm going to the right page. Have your children go to the diagnostic page. Okay. Now, as you see right here, this is my daughter Lyric, and I can switch it to my son Michael. Now, this is for Lyric. They already did a day's worth of diagnostic. And after they did the diagnostic, here are the quote unquote scores that IXL came up with. So the diagnostic is basically what it is. It just asks them questions. It asks them different math questions. It asks them different language arts questions. It may have a science question in there or two along the STEM side, but it doesn't really get into science questions or social studies type questions. I think the biggest concern is the math and language arts. Okay. I let my kids answer all those questions. I think I sat them down for about an hour or so. I gave them breaks in between and they just kept answering. And I had to let them know not to get upset if they got something wrong because that's what the diagnostic was for. If they got something wrong, then it would let me know the area that they need help in and let me know the area their strengths are in. So sorry, that's my ring doorbell. My neighbor must be heading out for work. So I let my children sit and answer the questions. Again, you want to go into, if you go into your child's, so let me say, for example, let me log in under my daughter. Okay. Now she's, oops, I should have just, let me go back to assessment. Now I'm logged in under my daughter. Now you see right here, it says step into the arena. You click that. And it really doesn't matter where you want to start. Okay. You can just click either one. And once you click, it's going to ask questions and your child gets to answer them. Okay. And the more questions your child answers, the better IXL understands where their strengths and their weaknesses are, and the better it is and easier it is for you to come up with a lesson plan. Okay. So the more questions they ask in this area, the better. And you see if they can answer the question, they can. And if they don't know it, they can just say, I don't know this yet. And I was telling my children, if you don't know how to work a problem, click I don't know this yet, which is great. Okay. So let me go back to the parent. Now, once you in the parent area, you go under assessment, find diagnostic, and look at your children's levels. Okay. This is showing my daughter. All right. So in fractions, this is her range 200 to 400. Again, I'm not sure exactly, you know, how they're coming up with 200, 400. Um, but I do know that 200 is on the lower end, and the closer you get to like 1,000, the better you are. So it shows fractions, and fractions she needs some help in. And if I click right here, well, I'll show you some more. It'll show you the recommended skill, but we'll get to that in a minute. Fractions is her weakness right now. Um, then data, statistics, probability. Now you see right here, it says keep diagnosing to reveal your score. Okay. So if she did more questions in the diagnostic, this will probably give us a recommended skill to take. But fractions, data, statistics, probability, geometry are the three lowest as far as math. But she's doing well in algebra and algebraic thinking, numbers and operations, and she's doing okay in measurements. All right, and then we will scroll down to language arts. Her vocabulary looks pretty decent. Writing strategies, she needs some help in. Grammar and mechanics, she also needs some help in. Her reading strategies, not bad. Can get everything, she has room for improvement. But look right here. It says print diagnostic action plan. You don't have to necessarily print it. You can just click it and go into it. And this gives you a kind of a better idea of where they are. So you see, here's that score line that they have here. So I guess 1,300 is the highest. Um, I took the SATs years ago, and when I was taking them, 1,600 was the highest. So I don't know again why they have like hundreds and stuff right here. I mean, I don't. We could have just did it like old school, and they said, "Oh, on a scale of 0 to 100, this is where they are." But anyway, so you see, overall math level, she's a little below average. Okay, I'm going to say average is probably right in here somewhere. Okay, it's going to be average, and she's slightly below. Okay, so we're working on that, but let's look in a little bit more here. Look, so remember the fractions I said she needs help in? Okay. So she's on a third grade level with fractions. Okay. Which is understandable because we did do work with her in fractions and decimals, but we really didn't um, beat that drum too much. There were a lot of other things I was helping her out in, like order of operations, decimals, exponents, long division, making sure their multiplication table, just making sure. Sorry, that's my ring again. Making sure they knew the basics. But nevertheless, she's at a third grade level, and it gives us a recommended skill. Now I can click this, and it's just going to take her right into the questions. Okay, but I'm not going to click it right now. If I scroll up, well, here, look, her algebraic thinking. She's at a fourth grade level for that. I'm not really tripping about that. Now, look, 570, she's getting closer to average on that. Okay. She's in the fifth grade. So, algebra and algebraic thinking, I'm okay with this. But again, she needs help. She needs to work on that. Now let's go up. Numbers and operations. Now we just went over operations, order of operations. And I'm not shocked that she's right on par of where she needs to be, fifth grade level. Okay, because I actually hammered her with numbers and operations for about 3 straight weeks. And that work paid off. Okay, so let's scroll down. Geometry, third grade level. This gives me a great idea of what areas they need to work in. Measurements, fourth, third grade level. Again, great, giving me ideas of where they need to work in. So I guess she didn't answer enough questions with data, statistics, and probability. So it's not giving me a recommendation yet, but it will because I'm going to have her do more diagnostic. Now let's go down to language arts. Same thing. Um, it tells us she's at a fourth grade level drawing inferences from text, but she can read graphic organizers at a fifth grade level, distinguish characters' point of view at a fourth grade level. Um, Now they can read very well. I think it's just probably the questions and the way they're forming the questions when they answer the questions in the diagnostics. It's probably what's kind of hard for them to understand what they're asking them, but we'll work on that. Again, vocabulary. Determine the meaning of words with Greek and Latin roots, fourth grade. Determine the meaning of idioms from context, fifth grade. So we actually went over idioms at one point this year in depth. So I'm not shocked that she's at a fifth grade level in that. And right now, I actually have my children writing down 3 or 4 words a day from the thesaurus and their synonyms. So they're getting better and better with determining the meaning of words. Okay. Writing strategies. I knew that their writing strategies sucked. Okay. I actually have a workbook that's called How to Write a Story that I was actually working on them with. So this is an area that they need to work on. Okay. Conjunctions. She's at a second grade level. She's in the fifth grade. Okay. So this is what we're going to work on. Okay. Grammar and mechanics, capitalizing the names of places and geographic features, second grade. There's something about this that I need to see. I want to know what questions they asked her, and maybe she didn't understand it properly because I know she knows how to capitalize proper nouns. Um, but maybe the geographic areas she might have had issues in, but we'll work on that. So again, first thing you should do is let's kind of go back. The first thing you should do when your kid logs in, have them go into the diagnostic area and have them just start asking questions. If you scroll back in the beginning of this video, I showed how to do that. You just go to have your kid log in, go to diagnostic, and just start answering questions. I would do that for the better part of the day. I don't know how long you homeschool your kids during the day, but I can typically get done with my children in about 3 hours, 3.5 hours of teaching. I don't need to stand in front of them for 4 or 5, 6 hours a day. We're actually doing pretty good with that right now. Have them go in, do the diagnostic. I would have them do that for the better part of a day. Um, if you get up in the morning and they start early in the morning, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock, probably have them go until lunchtime, and then after lunch, if they got the resolve to get back on the computer and keep answering questions for the rest of the day, so be it. Just make sure they get breaks and things like that. But I would say at least give them 3 hours of doing the diagnostic. Let them answer questions for a half hour, give them like a 5 or 10 minute break, answer questions again, rinse, wash, repeat. I think I said that backwards. Um, but have them do the diagnostic for several hours, okay? And then you'll get a clear understanding. Then, once you do that, so now what I'll do is this. I'm under analytics. So let's go to assessment. We saw the children's area. I wanted to get to the recommendations wall. Let's go back to here. Mm, I'm just looking for the recommendations. Mm, let's go back to the diagnostic report. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back here. I'm gonna log in as my kid, and I want to see if I can find. There is a recommendations wall. Here we go. Learning. All right. So you can go right here to recommendations wall. After your kid does the diagnostic, you can go in and you can have them. You can just have them go in and do what IXL is recommending. Okay. Now you got to look at each one. Okay. Because this is right here, I believe this is checks and balances. So that's part of social studies. Okay. Now, what I did instead of going into the recommendations wall, um, this is what I would do. If they're having issues with the particular, so my kids are having issues with fractions. Fractions is their soft or weak point right now. You can go into the skill plans and go to textbooks. Now, you see, as I scroll down, you see I'm in Maryland and they actually give you the standards that the kids should go by. Okay. You can just have them go, you can go to the math portion and you can just click their grade and have them start and just let them rock and roll. My kids are having issues in fractions. So what I'll do here is uh, probably scroll through one or two of these books. So let's just say here's a elementary math book. I think I'm under my daughter. She's in the fifth grade. Okay. And she's having issues with fractions. So there's no point in me having her just go through all of these right now. I want to sit down and help her with fractions. So we see right here, um, lesson 1.4, convert fractions into decimals, relationship, decimal place and values. Um, then I'm gonna keep scrolling to see if I can find some more fractions for her. Now, I just clicked the fifth grade. Okay. They probably won't have a lot of fractions in here for her. Okay. Remember, for her, the fractions, she was on like a third grade level just for the fractions portion. So, what I'll probably do is go to third grade, hit OK, and then scroll down. Go back to any one of these math books. Okay. Third grade. All right. Now I'm going to go in, and these are textbooks. Now I'm going to go in and try to find some fraction classwork. Now she knows how to multiply. That's not a problem with her. I'm just going to scroll down and see if I can find some fractions. Okay. And let her work her way up from third grade level. Then we're going to do fourth grade, and then we're going to do fifth grade. Okay. So I'm just scrolling down these multiple digit numbers. Use understand fractions. Here we go. Okay. So today I'll probably have her work on chapter 10 of this math book. And I'm pretty sure all those other textbooks that they had there, they got a chapter. If I go to third or fourth grade, they're going to have a chapter on fractions. So I'm going to have her probably, and I'll probably have my son do the same exact textbook and have them work on fractions today. Okay. And I have their lesson plan. I did have it up, but I closed it. But I have their lesson plan. I have fractions. I think I did have measurements and geometry, the three things that they were struggling in. I had that written down or typed up. Okay. So I'll have them working on this. Okay. This is a very simple way for you as a parent to assess your children's math and language arts levels. Okay. Then actually go in and create a lesson plan for the week to follow and stay organized and to keep your kid on the best path forward of getting better and better. Okay. Um, Now, you don't have to do the textbooks. I mean, you can literally just I'm going to use the textbooks because I believe if I go in here and look at the textbooks, they'll probably give us they'll ask them a question, okay? But they can also go here and say learn with an example, okay? And it kind of gives them an idea of what this question is asking them, okay? All right. And then you can go back to practice and then they can just do their thing. So this one says select the picture that shows equal parts. That's going to be easy for her. We're going to start with the basics with fractions and work our way back up. I guarantee you in 2, maybe even weeks or less, she'll be at a fifth grade level in fractions. It doesn't take her long to catch on. Okay. I'll have her at a fifth grade level, 2, 3 weeks tops. Okay. I hope this um, worked out for you. I'm sorry there's no editing here. I'm sorry there was noise in the background. This is my very first video on this channel. Um, and I didn't have a script written out. Um, so I'm going to actually add more videos regarding homeschooling and some recommendations that I come across. But for now, this is one of the best platforms that I found for the money. IXL.com, and have your kids do the diagnostic, and then from there you can set up a lesson plan. They also have science and social studies in here, and they do have Spanish you do have to pay for, I believe extra. I think it's like an extra $5 a month. I didn't select the Spanish portion of this because I found a homeschooling um, online live instructor from Guatemala, and I'll talk about that. That's a little pricey, but I'll talk about that as well. All right. If you have any questions, please, if you could put them down in the comments. Again, I'm sorry for the quality of the video. I just did this spur of the moment. It's early in the morning right now. Um, so let me know if you have any questions, if you got any recommendations. Let me know. I would like to know what the other homeschoolers are out there doing. All right. Take care.